Good morning, Richard, the meditation coach. I thought I'd have a quick chat to you this morning, talking about the topic of moving ahead in life with ease and grace. Because one of the things that I've noticed is recently times that people are moving ahead, but it's not with ease, and certainly not with grace. But some are, but some aren't. And so when we're looking at moving ahead with ease and grace, it's really important to understand what ease is and what grace is and where ease comes from. Now, ease is something that comes from the experience of being easy in your mind, and being easy in your mind comes from having the right and good attitudes and having the right and good state of mind, and also being of benefit to others and giving to others in a good way. Where does dis-ease come from? Dis-ease comes from allowing yourself to move into a negative state of mind, doing wrong things to others so others think ill of you, and doing the things that work against you, so you're not working according to your higher self, you're working according to your lower self, or you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, and this creates dis-ease. And as you know, that when you create dis-ease will eventually lead to disease in you. And so the moment you feel dis-ease within you, you must move that out and move back into easiness. And so it's important to really understand, with the time of no excuse that we talked about before, that it's important with the time of no excuse to be able to do what you know is right and remove and step away from doing what is wrong. So what happens if you find there's people around you that influence you and they're doing the wrong thing, or they're trying to take you in the wrong direction? Well, there's two ways of handling that. One is either step away and move out of their sphere of influence, or you determine within yourself that you're going to do particular things, and if they come with you, they do. If they don't, they don't, and then you'll leave them behind. So whatever way it is, that you have to make sure that you are actually moving ahead in the right way. So it's important that if people around you aren't doing the right thing and they're influencing you, that influence stops. And you either influence them or you step away. All right, so what about grace? Where does grace come in? Well, grace is blessings, good wishes, pure feelings, blessings, things like that, that come from others. And it's also, grace is when you are receiving goodness from the things that you've been doing, or from the way you've been thinking, or from your attitude and things like this. This is grace. So when we're doing things in grace, we're doing them silently, usually. We're doing them clearly. We're doing them on the basis of the being state, not the human state. You're doing them on the basis of being peaceful, and you're doing them on the basis of being in your strength and in your power. And strength and power means strength within yourself and power over your five senses, power over your mind, not over others. And so this is where grace comes from. So how do we enact grace in our lives? Well, we enact grace in our lives the same way as we do when we are looking at bringing good things in and manifesting. And the way you manifest is that you feel you want something, but it has to be good and has to be pure and has to be clean. Otherwise it won't happen. And then once it's pure and clean and good, then you can feel like you've already got it and start putting out for it, and it'll come in. So this is manifesting. Grace is not too dissimilar. Grace is when you're having the feeling that you would like something good to happen for you and for others and for the world and for God. And so you remember the topic of win-win-win, that brings you into grace. Do you remember the topic of that when someone defames you, they become your teacher? And then you can work through that, and you can, once someone's your teacher, you can work through it, learn the lesson and move forward, and that moves you into grace as well. And so that person who defamed you becomes your friend because they were your teacher. And so in the same way, this is how you come into grace, by doing the things that are going to bring goodness to you, and that are going to bring harmony to you, that are going to bring the blessings of others to you, that are going to allow a benefit to come into your life. There are things you can do which won't bring benefit, but they're not going to bring grace. There's attitudes you can have which aren't going to bring benefit either, and they're not going to bring grace either. And so there's also actions you can do which aren't going to bring benefit, which are going to be selfish, and which are going to be self-centered, and that'll probably put people offside and you won't have grace either. And so these are the things that we have to think about when we're talking about grace. And so now we've looked at those two aspects, ease and grace. And so I wish you all well for the day, and so you can bring ease and grace into your life. Blessings to you, Richard, the Meditation Coach.